In all of my research and all my travels, I've not come across anyone that has reached the pinnacle in academia, in leadership communication, in performance, and now you're going into divinity.
The ministry.
The ministry. You certainly must have learned an enormous amount of information about communication from all of these different disciplines. What do you know that the rest of us don't know?
Actually, I know very little. But the little that I know, I know. And I'm always trying to learn more.
In addition to all of that, you were once upon a time a salesperson.
Yes.
You came into all of this from an academic background. Being a PhD in polymer chemistry, that's a very deep science. What did you see when you were dealing with your professors and doing your research and working with other scientists and other professors? What did you see were the shortcomings from the academic community when they were asked to present their ideas?
Generally, academicians tend to be very direct. They are there to share their results, show the results that they've obtained, give the data, very data-driven. But they do not relate to the human beings sitting and listening as well. So this was interesting. I was an industrial scientist for 12 years. So many times I saw people in management listening to the presentations by the research scientists. And the research scientists were basically speaking to themselves. And I could see that the business managers were trying to understand how does that relate to our business objectives and how can that help us achieve our business strategic goals. The two were separated. The ones who were very good were able to show the connection, but it was obvious. And it was clear that many scientists, actually most scientists, study the technology, study the science behind what they're doing, but they don't understand the science of communication and the art of connecting with human beings. And so that's why, there's the stereotype of a very dry, boring lecture, even by the most brilliant professors, because that's not their expertise. And in fact, very often I have seen people who were very good at what they did in the lab, then being promoted to a group leader or manager. And suddenly they had to deal with these human beings who have their own challenges in understanding what needs to be done. How do they communicate that? They don't. I was invited, by a business group to address their small group leaders. This was in the finance industry. And I was told that they need help because they had no concept of how to motivate people, how to get the best out of people, and how to make people feel encouraged so that they would want to do better. What they knew was they were promoted because they were good at what they did as a technician or technologist or business analyst. But to reach and massage the human heart, that was a completely different beast that they were at sea with.
And I would have suspected that most of them would have said, why is this a skill that I would need to learn anyway? So you've walked in that world,
right?
You've achieved a PhD, you've been a scientist, and one of the best communicators in the entire world. What would you say to them?
I would tell them, put as much effort into learning how to connect with people as you do in learning your technical information and developing your technical skills. The two have to go hand in hand if we are to truly excel in any sphere of life. Right? And I have seen, there was one professor at a graduate school I was in who was an excellent communicator in the classroom. And we were aghast that he was going to be let go because he had not brought in enough money. Well, this was interesting because he had been officially told that he would be leaving in a month, and then a week later got notification that he had got a very significant grant. Guess what happened? That decision was revoked. And he was kept on. Right, right. And yet the professors were there also to instruct the next group of budding scientists. But that was given less importance than his ability to bring in money. So the research outweighed the teaching.
Are we creating a cycle, a perpetual cycle that is in fact worsening? If every generation of scientists or professors and educators that lack this skill are creating bad habits and promoting themselves as a role model to the next generation of scientists. If the next generation of scientists come on board and they have these weaker skills, then they're going to influence the next generation after them. Is this getting worse?
I don't know. I haven't been in that environment long enough because I went into industry, and in industry I saw a lot of other things. Politics getting in the way, egos getting in the way, that sort of thing. Again, that's not something that they didn't learn. You learn these things actually starting as a child in the home, right? The people who were very good were the ones who had high self-esteem, self-confidence, believed not only in themselves but in others. I had few mentors in the chemical industry. My first boss, fortunately, in the chemical industry was the best mentor I had, and he got me started. But then, since then, I ran into roadblocks because people tend to value different things, but to value the human person is a rare, it's a rare commodity to find.